about the latest shooting in Louisville that it seems like Republicans and others just want to say that's the way life is. Let's not do anything about it. What would the great man, or more importantly, the great man's son, Dan, say to do about it? But you were back there getting ready for Dingus Day or something. And I mentioned this to Dawn. I wanted to throw this out as a little appetizer to get started. And then I'll play you Josh Shapiro and we'll get into the heavy duty stuff. And that is, I like Crossing Broad. I like particularly Kevin over there. You know, he said good things about me too over the years. So there you go. But it's a sports pop culture website. And they asked the question, and on Twitter, baseball fans were really going after them. The Phillies, I guess it was last night or recently on this homestand, got their National League pennant winning National League champion ring. And these are pretty gaudy. They're like a World Series ring. Headline, Phillies fans overwhelmingly hate the participation trophy NL championship ring. That doesn't appear to be true. But do I think it's a participation trophy? Well, it's kind of in the twilight zone, you know, and I actually got some defenders on Twitter continuing with the participation trophy defense yesterday. So I will say, yes, it is a quasi participation trophy. Dan, what do you say?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. Like no
you say it more definitively.
Yeah, I don't think, especially when you're at that level of professional sports, nobody wants to win an award for losing. And that's essentially what it is.
I'll give you the argument the other side. We'll see if anybody is shocked by what we're saying here. And that is, well, they won the pennant. It used to be you were recognized if you were the pennant winner. But I also remember, I don't think people made a big deal about it. You had to be called world champion, which you were not really. We didn't play everybody in the world, but we assumed we would beat them if we did. And that was the World Series. So if you didn't win the World Series, you're right. How is that team on that pantheon? And the answer is, I think that it's not. I think you're right. It is a bit of it's like a professional participation trophy. You know, it's classy, it's big and all, it gives you something for the fan. Why do the fans love it? At the game, people on Twitter played sound and all that. When this was announced, people were cheering. They were going nuts. They weren't going, boo, come on, participation trophy. Any rationale?
No, I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. We'll throw that out there into the mix. Got a great side question today, a great guest coming up. 855-839-1210. You get on board.
How far does it go, though? Like, so the NL and AL also award different MVPs.
Right.
And they can't just pick one. Do you think they should only give one of the...
Oh, over the whole of baseball?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer that. Yeah, I think that's the best thing. Who's the best player over the whole of baseball would be better than, you know, a million different people get a million. It's like the Grammys. Now, there is the ultimate participation trophy. If you actually sell some degree of records over, say, a 15-year period, and you don't have a Grammy, you didn't bribe something's wrong. I mean, everybody, who has a Grammy? John Kerry has Mario Cuomo has not Mario. Andrew Cuomo has a Grammy. The Obamas have a bunch of Grammys. Ultimate participation. It's the worst of the awards. It really is. A lifetime Oscar award, I'd say, is probably not a participation trophy. You know, you really have to be esteemed to get that. And you might have been blocked one year by somebody who just was incredible that one year that you didn't get the Oscar. Yeah, the Emmys, they're like participation trophy. Everybody in the world seems to get an Emmy. There's 90,000 categories.
Like different types, Emmys, daytime Emmys.
In fact,
local Emmys.
In the Dome, next time we're on from the Dome, or tomorrow on Utah, I'll bring in all the participation trophy. They were called the Air Awards.
Oh, yeah?
I have like a dozen of them at home of local radio.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for this, that, best hair.
Well, if you're against participation trophies, why aren't they in the trash?
Yeah, I'll say that Ro keeps them around. She kind of likes them, yes. All right. Who knows? You know, other people don't know their participation trophies.
It's true.
They look pretty nice. They're a nice piece.
You ever win one of those Emmys?
No, I have not won an Emmy.
No
Emmys.
Not enough TV, right?
Should have won just for the hair. You've seen the hair in the long-running TV show that I did.
I'd
Man.
start watching the Emmys if they give away awards like best
Yes.
hair on TV.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Give me a reason to watch.
All right. So is that a participation trophy for the Phillies? Now, Louisville, we continue with the fallout from this. And of course, Democrats, this is one of the few things they have. They're not going to let up. So Josh Shapiro, who is a bit smarter than some of the others, he's on MSNBC this morning with Morning Joe and Mika, and he adopts this tone of the reasonable man. And why are these people now saying, well, we're just going to have shootings? Let me give you one little factoid about the shooter, Dan, you may not have seen. I only saw it in one place. This guy was a tremendous athlete. He went to Alabama. I think he was on the football team. I don't know that he played. I actually saw him play basketball in a little footage. Very good. But he was so concussion prone, had so many bad concussions. He was actually called in his yearbook Mr. Concussion.
Oy.
And he wore a helmet playing basketball.
Wow.
Yeah. So I hope in some way, shape, or form that they're going to examine this guy. I suspect CTE as part of this. Now, how does that play out into this debate? Well, I think it makes the point that in each one of these shootings, we are dealing with individual and specific facts that are paramount. And we still haven't seen the manifesto from the Nashville shooting. Media seems to want to forget about that part. They want to have this big debate, stop the world on this stuff, but not that. So how does it play out? Would someone with that many concussions, would that be a red flag? Well, I think it shows you the difficulty with red flag rules or why a red flag might be something you consider. I mean, it seems to me that this guy had concussions and missed an entire year, the one friend says, of playing sports because of concussion. Then he had multiple concussions routinely after that. The picture of him playing basketball with a helmet on, though, in a big game is pretty amazing, you know? I didn't even know that it should be allowed. If he runs into you, like offensive foul with his head or something, you know?
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary, yeah. So this is a fact. Let's see if the media glances over this. Here's Josh Shapiro, though. And listen to the litany of things he gives about people killing people, what the rationale is. All this to appear to be reasonable and to attack Republicans.
Whether you're a governor or a citizen of his commonwealth or mine, you feel every day, whether it's at a bank in Louisville or on the streets of Philadelphia, every single day. And I think before we get into the policy prescriptions, we all have to say as Americans, it doesn't have to be this way.
All right, let's stop it
We
right
don't
there.
have to
Let's stop it right there with this guy. This is the smarter guy, this weasel, though, right? This weasel with his son in capital punishment, and he's Mr. Abortion. It doesn't have to be this way. Notice this. This has been all worked up with his consultants, experts. When he runs for president someday, we're going to hear that. Are Republicans saying it has to be this way? Is that what he's claiming? Yeah, he's claiming that's what we're saying. It has to be this way. Second Amendment. Shut up now. Let's go on to the next mass shooting. All right, here he goes.
We all have to say as Americans, it doesn't have to be this way. We don't have to accept this. This is not normal. And we have to come together and stop making pitiful excuses for inaction and actually get something done.
Yeah,
Stop
a pitiful excuse that you can't answer your son on capital punishment. Touche, Mr. Governor. Continue.
Excuses for inaction and actually get something done. Stop saying that, oh, well, this one bill wouldn't have stopped this particular situation. We need to take a number of steps, from making sure we've got universal background checks. Hell, we should all agree, Joe, criminals shouldn't get their hands on guns. Why is that so damn hard to...
Stop it, you hypocrite. I'm sorry at the beginning of the show, Dan. Get the air conditioning on here. This is a guy that we gave more power to. Now, he just said, can you go back a little bit to what he just said about criminals shouldn't have guns? Then stop it.
making sure we've got universal background checks. Hell, we should all agree, Joe, criminals shouldn't get their hands on guns. Why is that so damn hard to all come together around?
All right, let's look in Philadelphia, Mr. Governor. You were given extra power to make sure that criminals can't walk around with guns in Philadelphia. Larry Krasner, even shockingly for Krasner, has said on multiple occasions, felon can't have a handgun. We catch him in Philadelphia. We're not going to make that a felony. We're going to deal with it, but we're not doing that. You could have jumped in as an attorney general, both told the public how wrong that was, used the added powers to prosecute. Yet you're on national TV saying, can't we all agree? You don't agree, buddy. And Larry Krasner certainly doesn't agree. He thinks if a felon, let's use the proper term. We're not just saying criminal. We're saying a felony and is caught with a gun, he's not going to throw the book at him. Continue.
So damn hard to all come together around. We also have to address the underlying drivers of violence. We can't ignore mental health in this country anymore. We have to recognize that in some cases, poverty, a lack of educational opportunity, a lack of workforce opportunity, that also leads to people sometimes making these kinds of choices. Let's get our heads around the fact that it doesn't have to be this way. That's the test of this nation. Are we really going to accept that this is normal? That this is the way it's just going to be? Or are we going to actually use our strength to rise up and do something different and save our babies, save, as Andy said, these children of God that are perishing every day due to this senseless gun violence? It doesn't have to be this way.
I wonder how much the consultants were paid to drone on that line. It doesn't have to be this way. Josh Shapiro for president. All right. That demands a response. I gave you mine. Yeah, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Now, by happenstance, at 12:30 today, we're going to talk with someone on the school board out there. No, someone's a state rep out near Perkiomen Valley about the fact that Perkiomen Valley schools, I think all 7 of them, by what I have, are looking at having an armed officer in every one of those schools. It doesn't have to be this way. Well, no, we don't want to do that. Well, wait a minute. The kid who didn't have what is this guy talking about? No workforce opportunity, no school opportunity. Let's go and kill somebody. Doesn't have to be this way. I can see them sitting around the boardroom. That's the ticket. Either if Joe Biden doesn't run or after Joe Biden is done, it doesn't have to be this way. And his 10-year-old or 12, whatever he'll be at that point, will be in an ad saying, that's right, Dad, it doesn't have to be this way. All right, phone lines. Give me your response to Josh Shapiro, 855-839-1210. I'll give you the side question coming up. It's right out of the local news, but it's a fun one. It's not political.
Are we going to actually use our strength to rise up and do something different and save our babies?
My God. And Mika, Joe, we got to get this guy on once a week. My God, he's different. 855-839-1210. You get on board with Dom on Dingus, stay with Dan. Anything could happen. Talk Radio 1210. All right, I'll solve the mystery. Why did I tweet out I
Yeah,
wanted a
very
review
curious about
of the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Mario.
No, I say Mario.
It's
You can
Mario.
say Mario. I'm not
You
going to
say
say the
tomato, I say
Mario.
tomato.
Yes. I think Philadelphia's Mario. The Mario are the people
You're right.
overdoing it.
Philadelphia is Super
They're like
Mario. Yeah.
dilettantes, yes. All right, so Mario is hot. Incredible blockbuster of 2023 worldwide up until now, or up till yesterday, 377 million, a new record for animated features.
Wow.
And here's why I put it out there. And we were talking about this yesterday. We don't want to go overboard with jumping on everything. But here's a headline. Some right wingers claim Super Mario Brothers movie success is because it's anti woke. Now, it's one thing to be not woke, but anti woke. That's got to be a stretch. It is not woke, and there was a fear that it would be woke, apparently, because the right people were not matching up. They thought they would put a gay character in there or a transgendered character, or Mario wouldn't like the pizza.
Oh,
There'd
I'm
be
so
some
sorry
spin.
they didn't, try to appeal to the woke ideologies.
So they didn't, and there was about who should play it and how they should play it, and they went with their original choices. Is that why people like it, or is it it was normal? It just wasn't anything other than an animated feature, and people liked the character, they liked the whole franchise.
I mean, when they first came out, the casting, it was controversial in the
Right.
sense that Chris Pratt playing Mario is a completely new voice. It's not the high
Right.
pitched,
Right.
Mario that we're used to.
Mhm.
Charlie Day playing Luigi's a good choice. Jack Black playing Bowser.
Right.
Like, it's a star-studded cast, but it didn't really match up with the voices that we as Mario fans were very
Right.
familiar with. But now it has what, a 56% tomato meter score, and this is how you can usually tell if a movie's like controversial in the woke
Right.
vein. It's 56% out of critics, but has a 96% audience score.
Well, I'm surprised it got a 56 out of critics. I thought it might even go lower than that because, it's an animated film. They're not going to like it going in necessarily. They want something more highbrow. So that's a pretty good score from the critics. Yeah, but how is it the critics and the public almost never match up when it's a hit? They just don't. It's not a popular movie. The critics are not going to. I don't know what Top Guns was. The critics seem to have come around on that. That had to be like a 97, 98.
Yeah, Top Gun. Let me check that real quick. Rotten Tomatoes is 96% from a critic score, 99% audience.
That's one where the critics and the audience came together.
I hate to be that guy, but it's an overrated film.
Yes, I think it is too, but that's blasphemy. People are wishing for it because they're sick and tired of the other. But I don't think that's why it did 377 million. It's just that people like the film. They think it's decent for an animated film.
Well, it's a huge franchise.
And it's got a backstory. It's got identity. Everybody knows who that is. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pulling up the highest grossing media franchises, Dom. It's it's not on here. Pokemon's number 1 though.
Yeah.
I knew that.
Well, this is the first
Big
Super
film,
Mario.
yeah.
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 So 377 worldwide is not in the top 20 even, I don't think. You're going to need a lot more. You're going to need 1 billion probably.
You going out to see it?
No.
No. No desire?
No desire. I don't get it. I thought it was even a kids thing. Are adults seeing it with kids? Is it that?
Yeah, like my generation. I mean, Mario is ingrained throughout.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So maybe your generation, maybe adults with kids a bit. If you've seen it, give us a review. We don't want to go so far to say, aha, this is a shot across the bow of the woke, other than to say to Hollywood and others, you know what? If you just do a normal film, normal plot lines, you got a franchise here, do not throw anything in. Now, Disney has a new Little Mermaid song that we'll be talking about today, where they've corrected the original Little Mermaid because it's too anti-female. It's diminishing of mermaid females. And the ladies on The View were all on board with the new version, of course.
The mermaid females.
Can you imagine?
All those mermaids are getting offended out there.
Yeah, that there was too much kissing without consent, apparently, underwater.
Speaking about being offended, has Mario ever offended your Italian sensibilities?
No,
No?
I'm anti all that stuff.
Kind
Look,
of a cultural appropriation to a degree.
yeah, I think The Sopranos was great art. Those that used to attack The Sopranos and all that, just ridiculous. The Sons of Italy or whatever, they banned me a long time
How
ago.
about the
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Those ever, grind your gears?
No, what about them
Oh,
is,
I mean,
yeah.
they stole all those Italian names and they love pizza.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
No, that's a good thing.
turtles become mutants and turn into Italians.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. There's nothing negative. All right, let me give you this side question because it kind of plays out of this whole thing. So we talked yesterday a lot about Bud Light, which really tanked. There's a publication called Beer World, and it showed I didn't see the stock today of Anheuser-Busch, but the parent company's really gone down because people are going nuts about the Bud Light nonsense around this Dylan Mulvaney, who is particularly all over the place. So we thought, give us the all-time either spokesperson for a product that was a big fail, a slogan, a campaign, a change. New Coke is the all-timer. I don't even think this Bud Light thing can rival what they did with New Coke, but I'll give you a couple. Using Colin Kaepernick, I don't think was a good move.
That's a
Now,
great answer.
Nike
Didn't think about that one.
Nike may have survived it sort of. And my favorite, not that I'm in this camp, but there was a big controversy just to show you, sometimes it's hard to tell, was Peloton. Do you remember the Peloton thing a few years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Attractive woman, looks to be in
Yeah.
great shape, but she's afraid he gets the bike for her because she's not thin enough. I didn't read it that way. You know, I think it's a superior product, but oh man, they were
Yeah.
killing
Yeah,
Peloton,
that was bad.
mainly from the left. All right, so Dan, what do you have? What's a big fail? Either spokesperson, slogan, changing the product, doing something
I'm
it
going
was
with a
working.
mascot.
Ah, okay.
Remember back, this is probably almost 10 years ago now, 2016. Remember Puppy Monkey Baby from Mountain Dew that they really tried getting going? It was like a dancing CGI, half or one third's puppy, one third monkey, one third baby.
No, but
It was
yeah,
disgusting
yeah,
looking, and
right.
yeah, they really tried getting it going. You don't remember that at all?
I tune out when it's Mountain Dew. Something about that product makes my teeth. I have to go brush at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so that's
You don't remember this?
no. So that
Oh,
was not effective.
oh.
You're saying did not sell Mountain Dew.
And they tried so hard. It was all over the internet. They had like viral ads trying to get out there, and it was just weird. Just weird.
All right, we'll consider that. So that's what we're looking for. Some big fail. Of course, you're not going to win with Etzel.
Can I get one more out there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Remember the Geico cavemen?
Yes, and they
Yeah.
put a whole series, even a show or something.
I think they misunderstood that they were being mocked as
Right.
an ad at the time, and
Yeah.
people weren't loving it. Like they weren't tuning in to find the cavemen commercials. So I don't know where that TV show came
They
from.
hold a whole thing with the caveman playing golf with some recognizable pro golfers.
Yeah, it's
That
weird.
was pretty bad. Yeah,
That's where Nick Kroll got his start. He's a comedian who was on the league.
Right.
He was one of the cavemen actually.
but a whole TV show out of it. You're right.
And a TV show that came from an advertising campaign that's fantastic. That's the opposite. And many people didn't know it was an advertising campaign at first. It's Ted Lasso.
How did that come from? What?
That was, I think, an NBC Sports, or not Philadelphia, but an NBC Sports soccer kind of promo teaser where they had
Okay.
the actor come in and play Ted Lasso as a coach. And it was just promos that they did during breaks. And then it turned into a series.
By the way, no participation trophies in British and Scottish soccer. If you're the worst team, they kick you out to the minor leagues. Now that's what America. Can you imagine? Imagine doing that in the NFL and the Eagles lose by a point and have to go to the AAA.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh my God. All right. Coming up, Perkiomen Valley is considering at a very high level, I believe, the schools, 7 of them by news accounts, having an armed officer there to repel the nonsense that we see constantly. We're going to talk with a local state representative about that. I think she's on board. And we used to talk with her about what Souderton did. I'm going to ask about that during COVID, where they were definitely on the right track. Isn't this what has to be done? Oh, let me take this one first, Dan. This may not mean anything to you, but this is a good one. Let's go to Jay in Ben Salem. All right, Jay, who was a poor choice? Who do you have? Jay. Yeah, Jay. Who's yours?
Alan?
Yes, you are, Jay. Hi.
Okay, a nice, wholesome product. Ivory Snow, take care of babies' clothing. They used as their model a porn actress, Marilyn Chambers.
Yes, thank you. Now, I think, Dan, you may want to Google that.
Well, I'm not going to Google what porn
Well,
actress
no,
I were.
but no, she may have done the porno after the ad. Because, if they chose her, they didn't choose Stormy Daniels to
risky.
do Ivory Snow.
If Greg, you're listening right now and you see a search history of Marilyn Chambers, please know this for show purposes.
Well, put Ivory Snow in, makes a mistake. I think that she did the Ivory Snow first, but he's right though, Dan. How did they not check out that this woman apparently was going, and it's one of the all-time most famous, Behind the Green Door with Marilyn Chambers, and she was the Ivory Snow person. That's true. All right, we'll clarify that coming up. Local school district. I think we've gotten to that point. You need someone armed that can repel people coming in wanting to murder people.
So,
yes.
So, sorry, I just pulled it up. It says, after
Yeah.
filming concluded of Behind the Green Door,
Right.
she informed the directors that she was the Ivory Snow girl. The Mitchells capitalized on this by billing her as a 99 and 44/100% impure girl.
So she did the Green Door after she was the Ivory Snow.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. But still, that's a good one. Ivory Snow was not happy at that because she was still ongoing too. That's a contender. That's an excellent. Stormy Daniels doing what? Some kind of breakfast cereal. No, I don't think so. Well, who knows? All right, 855-839-1210. That's what we're looking for. Some kind of advertising failure of a massive proportion or a fun proportion at least. Maybe a local one. Jump in. Well, seafood lovers, hope you took my advice. You went to Captain Chucky's and you had a great Easter. I've been telling you for years now, and it's springtime. You're going to be gathering with folks. Beautiful. I think it might be 86 one day this week. You want to have great food and delicacies from Captain Chucky's. 18 locations in the tri-state area. There's bound to be one near you. Several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. There's literally a crab cake for everybody. And you have dessert, soup, sides, appetizers. And of course, my personal favorite, that would be the Don Roll. We had a guy call in yesterday about how good they were. You can literally create meals for every night of the week and not get bored. Their Gulf shrimp, huge hit, always wild caught, never farm raised. Everyone will be asking, where did you get that shrimp? Well, get a shrimp tray then. Get crab cakes. Get these great Captain Chucky's items for yourself or entertaining needs, and 18 big locations. One website that'll give you everything, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. Visit the independent owners of the satellite stores, Wayne and Elaine Jones, Chester Springs, Frank Chirillo, Bluebell, John and Cindy Clark in Huntington Valley. Ocean City and Sea Isle now are open Fridays and Saturdays, noon till 5. In Ocean City, you say hi to Chris and Donna Ryan. In Sea Isle, say hello to the McCann family. One website, WeLoveCrabCakes.com.
At this hour, some high clouds moving through as we head into the afternoon, and temperatures gradually continue to climb up, reaching the mid-70s for today. Let's talk about the forecast tonight. A few clouds with a low near 56 degrees. Heading into your Wednesday afternoon, we will be reaching the low 80s across the entire area. The dry weather will continue for the entire work week. On Thursday, expect the high near 83 with mostly sunny skies. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Marvin Gomez.
Weather sponsored by Holland Floor Covering, the region's premier flooring dealer. Family owned and operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more at hollandfloor.com.
Are you concerned about your child struggling in school? Do they need more of a challenge? Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and New Hope Academy in Yardley and Doylestown at 800-300-0003. Let New Hope Academy transform your child's life forever by helping them now. For over 3 decades, New Hope Academy founder Kathy Ganna, a pioneering educator and entrepreneur who created the NHA model, has been utilizing state-of-the-art solutions to uncover ways where your child could avoid struggling and succeed. At New Hope Academy, there's a student-teacher ratio of 2 to 1, allowing for students to deal with many disorders, including high anxiety, social, and emotional, and including bipolar. Do not wait. Remember, only the best teachers can work at NHA. Call for a no-obligation tour and consultation. 90% of NHA graduates pursue a college education. Call Kathy today at 800-300-0003. Online, newhopeacademy.net. Call New Hope Academy today.
King Shooter Supply, a full-service gun store, licensed FFL, buy, sell, trade, all sorts of accessories, and indoor range and training center is open in King of Prussia with lessons and classes for all shooters, such as parent and child gun safety and range time, weekly cleaning classes, and pistol red dot. Check out all the offerings. Membership options include law enforcement, military, first responder, and seniors. Stop in to see King Shooter Supply, 346 East Church Road in King of Prussia, or find them on Facebook, kingshooters.com. Now open Sundays too, noon till 6.
Medical hydration therapy, pain management, and more. We'll talk about it on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Broadcasting. Relationships matter. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Time, big issues, big guest. We told you the other day about Perkiomen Valley Schools, 7 of them, I believe. More than considering, it seemed to be a lot of people behind this. The idea of having an armed officer, I'll let our guests tell you what that means, a cop or an officer, in each one of the 7 schools. Given conditions where we are today, I saw the figure of what it would cost, and it seemed to be a lot for a local school district, although necessary. Representative Donna Sheeran is out there in that area, and we used to have Donna on a few times, at least I think, talking about the Souderton School District, who did, I think, all the right things during COVID. They moved heaven and earth to avoid some of the worst of the lockdowns, if you remember, and had great results. Let's go to Representative Donna Sheeran on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Donna, welcome back. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Good to hear your voice.
Well, thank you. You still serve on the board over in Souderton?
I am still on the Souderton School Board. Yes, it's not easy, right, to find good, solid replacements, but we've got a good team running this election cycle, so I feel my position will be in good hands.
Good to hear it, but I wanted to revisit that for a moment. Yesterday, President Biden, I think it was yesterday or this morning, signed the end of the emergency around COVID. I think it's a date in May where it officially ends. But you were in the center of this where you had to make decisions, particularly you were in a county, in my view, with Valerie Arcouche, as we know, who even before we had trouble, you may remember before that Thanksgiving holiday that year, they shut down schools preemptively coming after that. And you had that kind of thing to try to navigate. And it did a great job academically of essentially keeping schools open.
You have a great memory, and that's exactly what we did. Open from day one in September. And yes, other than the mandatory shutdown there at Thanksgiving that Dr. Val Arcouche insisted upon, we went full force in the classroom and proved that it could be done safely.
And Donna, you know, because I'm on that side of it where you are, I just think we haven't rewarded people who made the right judgments. Look, everybody, after a month, we didn't know we were dealing with 6 weeks, but after a while we did. And this came down to what we pay politicians and other people for, reward or not. And that's their judgment in addition to their character. And it took both there. Given this was a real powerhouse, she does have a degree in public health, et cetera, in Montgomery County, who was on the other side of it.
Yes, so many of them, using that knowledge and the power that they had at the time, with the masks and promoting virtual education and making it very difficult to be in the classroom. We just felt it was most important to overcome all the recommendation, the guidelines, the criteria for the students to be safely distanced in the classroom, because the anticipated learning loss was far too great a concern to us as board members and as an administration, to not make every effort to put the kids in the classroom.
You were right. I mean, yeah, I predicted that too, given an education background of what was going to happen. You just can't do this extended learning, Zoom learning over an extended period of time. So, Donna, now we see in Perkiomen Valley, unless this news account is wrong, there does seem to be, if not a consensus, a lot of people seriously looking at, as I said, officers in the 7, each one of the schools that would be armed. Who would these officers be? Would they be cops or what would they be?
So yes, the members of the Perk Valley School District reached out for advice, certainly knowing that I had 12 years on the Souderton School Board. And in addition, their superintendent also reached out, to ours as well for advice on this topic. And it's not new to us. Souderton put, the fully armed police officers in our school back in 2014. So here we are almost 10 years later. As a state representative, I will do everything in my power to support our law enforcement in every way possible. And that includes, the encouragement of school boards across the Commonwealth to incorporate them into their safety plans.
I apologize. I didn't know that. That's a commendable record because the media doesn't seem to publicize this. So it would cost, at least according to the material I saw, per year, I think they said 1.3 million. Is that in the range? And if so, isn't that a lot for Perkiomen Valley?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, they put their officers in there. It was probably everything, right? From weaponry to vehicles to salaries. Certainly there's grants out there for them to take advantage of. It doesn't necessarily have to all come from them, but I understand the movement is probably to make sure that their startup costs are covered. And that's the sound way to go about it, for sure. But yes, there's security guards in place now in most schools, right? So if you're looking to enhance that security guard or if you're looking to replace that security guard, I think a lot of those costs might already be in the budget, from a security guard perspective. But our officers were retired state troopers. They were retired police officers from local townships, retired police chiefs. So it's very important for the men and women that are being considered for these roles to have the solid experience and the solid background to be able to move right into these positions with ease. And in many circumstances, these were the men and women, that you were calling upon every time you had an incident in the local school district anyway.
So let me interrupt, Donna, and ask you, though, what about the critics on the other side? Here's the type of thing, oh, my God, we're sending kids, and you've had experience in Souderton, I'm sure they said it there, sending kids to school every day and having to see an armed person there. What kind of message does that send?
Oh, my heavens. I have to speak the truth in that all these officers are warmly embraced by the staff and students. Knowing that they are there to protect them all through the hours of school, right? It allows the students and staff to be able to stay focused on learning and achievement. Whether they're there during the day, whether they're there in the evening, at the sports activities in the buildings, or on the weekends, they've become an integral part of our entire school system, and we wouldn't have it any other way. We never look back.
Well,
since we made that decision 10 years ago.
I'm glad to hear it. So, was there an incident in Perkiomen Valley, or is this just a groundswell of common sense given every incident that we see that's out there, because it stands to reason. We know that from the Nashville shooter, that she went at this school because other parts of places she was going to hit, they had better security of one sort or another. That's why, sadly, she chose this.
Exactly. Look, the school boards are having to make decisions in today's environment that we never thought would be faced, would be in the public eye, but they're there. And with the incidence of school shootings happening, more frequently, it's just another step to protect staff and students. It's a smart move in my mind.
Absolutely. When does this come to a head, Donna? It seems to be kind of imminent that this may be coming up at the board meetings or voted on.
Yeah, well, it seems Perk Valley has it on the docket to consider it, I think, this month, if they haven't pushed it back. I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking to make some decisions. But, I think when Souderton was looking at making this a permanent investment in our school district, we had looked at everything that we had done. And in all honesty, safety and security is always the number one issue for students and staff in the building. But when we put in, one-way entrance vestibules and bullet-resistant glass, camera systems, ALICE training, safety shooter drills, district-wide radio systems, all tied into the local police departments.
Mm-hmm.
We took it a step further, and as a board, we asked ourselves if we were doing everything within our power to keep kids safe. And without armed police officers in the building, we felt the answer to that question was no.
Couldn't agree with you more. It is so good to know that you're in Harrisburg, so we hope to call upon you as the shenanigans continue there.
Absolutely. It's been a little bit of a rocky start, to say the least, but certainly going to do all I can to advocate for this great community where I live.
I'm glad you're there, Donna. Thank you so much, and we'll be in touch.
You got it. And can I do one shout out?
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to the Turkey Club of Little Rock. Great group of men and women that do everything for our local police, our local fire, our EMTs, raising money for them whenever they can. So great bunch. And I just wanted to say hello to all of them.
All right. Thank you, Donna, very much.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Donna Sheeran, we meet again. How all roads lead back here. All right. So Perkiomen Valley, Basinette, looks like they might do it. I didn't know that Souderton had done it. The media does, they don't report on that. They report on how this campus, she said 2014. So that's 9 years ago. It seems to be working. Give me your response at 855-839-1210. You get in.
I can't believe 2014 is 9 years ago.
Yes. Wow.
Time's flying.
Yes, it has. All right. Many dingus days.
Yes.
Hey, let's talk about something that's going to slow down time and give us a great time together this summer in Italy, Rome. First, Rome. You got to go to Rome first. Florence, Tuscany, Milan, Venice, the stunning Lake Maggiore. That's at the foot of the Alps. And there's a reason why Italy is so much, well, it's second time for Ro and me taking listeners, the most revisited country in the world. Luxury hotels, but authentic. That's what we got with Conservative Tours that first time. I've told you about the sumptuous dinner feast. Fully escorted by Conservative Tours, a plus rating with a Better Business Bureau. You get fashion, unrivaled art, high culture, birthplace of the Renaissance, and of course, the world's greatest cuisine. We'll visit medieval villages like Orvieto and go to an authentic balsamic farm in Modena. Soak up the warm afternoons rolling along the back roads of Tuscany. The wine. Buongiorno,
Your early
Dominic.
trip sounds fantastic.
Well, it is. You got to come along, though. $52.67, including your airfare. The Colosseum, Michelangelo's David, the Vatican, everyone's favorite. Magical, romantic Venice. Just call now, 888-733-9494, 888-733-9494, or Take a look at the visuals. Go to conservativetours.com. I'll see you in the Sistine Chapel. I'll see you at the feast, but only if you call 888-733-9494.
WPHT is live and local all day.
All right, welcome in. Really enjoyed catching up with Donna Sheeran. It looks like Perkiomen Valley. How many school districts are going to have armed officers in there, as she said, former cops? Let's go to Lori and Ringo's. Ringo's considering this. Hey, Lori, how you doing?
Hey, Dom. Well, I'm pretty good. I'm a teacher's aide at a school, not in Ringo's. I'm on spring break, and I just wanted to share that, our school is the board over a year ago started, consulting with parents and the faculty, et cetera, and they're going to be bringing a full-time officer on premises on board in the fall, hopefully at the beginning of the school year.
To the, high school, Lori, or
No, this is a K through 8 school with over 400 kids in it. So it's not a huge school.
Right.
It's in a borough, and so the borough, through the taxes that are raised both for the school and the police department, will be funding this. And I will say that there's the police department is like literally, a quarter mile away. It's so close. So the police are there a lot whenever we have safety drills. There's been a lot done at the school to improve security. It's in a quaint little town. It's not like in an urban area. I think on balance, it's a positive experience for the kids to see the police around the school building, and it does build bridges. It's like when you talk about the neighborhood beat cops, right? It builds positive impressions of policemen. I do know there was a kid that came from the city to our school several years ago. His older brother had negative interactions with the police. And I was working with that child one-on-one. The first time he saw a cop, he was like, "Oh, cops, they're bad." And so you have to explain to him, no, they're not.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether we ever got through to him. But I never heard him say that again. And hopefully this will give him some opportunities to have positive interactions.
Well, right.
So I'm all for it.
Yeah. I mean, in Ringo's, you think, what would happen? It can happen anywhere. You can't, figure these things based on that. Who's your advertising fail?
It's Jeb ! From when Jeb Bush ran for president.
Yeah. I think he got one delegate with $125 million spent. And you know
it
what?
Was all in the exclamation point.
Lori, the only one, look, some of the Trump nicknames, Little Marco, maybe that works. But the one that really worked was Low Energy Jeb.
Yeah,
that's the one that worked.
It did.
Yeah. Hey, before you let go of Laurie, so you're on spring break right now. Is this like something you look forward to, being able to listen to us on the Dom Giordano
There
program?
you go. Yeah.
Of course I do. Absolutely. And I had made like a promise to myself I wasn't going to call in anymore, like the other shows. Here I am calling you. So.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Lori, as always.
Right,
I love you. Thank you, Lori. All right. That's our side question today. You got a great 1 o'clock hour coming up. Governor Murphy and I are in agreement on something. Sign of the apocalypse. Definite sign. A big thing, too. Now, I don't know that he really thinks this. It's just a trend. His buddy Josh Shapiro probably told him
Or
about
something
it.
else you guys agree on.
What's that?
And his new hairstyle looks
That's right. Yeah, more hair.
And he looks
Now,
like he was dipped in a toilet.
Let's work on the teeth. Hey, it's time for the NBA playoffs, and you can get in on the action right from that first tip with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. Right now, all customers get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend when you bet the NBA playoffs. That's just place a 3+ leg same-game parlay or same-game parlay plus on any NBA playoff game, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. I haven't seen the line yet, Dan, over the Nets. I got to say, Sixers should be favored by 7 in that first game at home. They don't. I got to take them. I'll say this: whatever they're favored by at home, Embiid is going to go nuts. Take the Sixers. And there's no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook.
8.5, Tom. Sorry.
8.5. You know what? I'll take the 8.5.
Really?
Yes.
8.5.
Yep.
Wow.
Embiid goes for 45. And I don't know if that's up there or not. And I really like the FanDuel app. Visit FanDuel.com/Dom. Get a no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend in the NBA playoffs. That's FanDuel.com/Dom. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. Have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.